Hi vlog, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is quite different from the rest of my videos, and you can see today I'm holding a mic. I don't use this mic for vlogs because it's wired. I cannot plug it to my phone and be walking up and down. It's not going to work out fine. Today is a sit down video. I got a request to do a vlog about my life story to date, so I decided why not, because I haven't done any sit down vlogs, any storytelling vlogs before. So this is my first. Actually, I don't even know where to start because okay, let me start from childhood. Growing up, I'm a Nigerian, as you guys all know. I was born and brought up in Lagos State. My childhood was quite interesting, actually. I would say, like, I was living a soft life in my childhood because my parents had it, like, my dad was still wealthy at the time, so things were soft for us when we were small. I was born and brought up in Lagos, so I'm the second of 5 children. Growing up was easy, like I said before. At home, it was like soft life at home, but outside home, I was a street, like a serious introvert. As a child, I was a serious introvert. Like, I don't, if you don't talk to me, I won't be able to talk to you. Like, making friends was difficult. One reason is because I always looked down on myself. Like, I was like, if that person is better than me, or like this person is richer than me, this person, we were okay, financially, but then I don't know why I always had this mentality of the other people are richer than me, like we have nothing. My dad was wealthy enough to take us to any country. Like, we could have relocated from Nigeria if we wanted to at the time, but I still, for some reason, did not feel like it was good enough to prove that we were well off. So primary school, I schooled in Lagos. My primary school and then my GS1 was in Lagos State. That was still when things were, hot. My primary school was, should I say my primary school? St. Martin's Catholic Nigerian Primary School. My GS1 was Sacred Heart College at Papa. My sister and I were schooling in Sacred Heart together. That was my older sister, Nicole. We're schooling in Sacred Heart together. So we moved from Sacred Heart to Enugu in my GS2 while she was in GS3. So at that time, when my parents broke the news to us that we were going to start schooling in Enugu, what they told us was that we don't know how to speak our language and we'll have to start learning to speak our language. So we're going to start schooling in the east so that we'll have to learn how to speak our language. But that was not the case. It was actually because things were no longer the way it used to be. Things were getting bad for my dad. So, like, it would be cheaper to school in Enugu than to school in Lagos. So we moved to Enugu. At that period, when I realized that I was no longer going to be schooling in Lagos, in fact, I felt like, God, it was like as if I was going to school in the village. Like, I felt so embarrassed to tell anybody that I was moving. I didn't tell any of my classmates at the time that I was leaving. I didn't tell nobody. And then they didn't see me again. Because what would like start telling them that
I'm changing school. I'm not going to be in this school again. I'm going to the east.
people don't rate east. They don't used to rate the school I was, as small as I was that time. Like, I saw people living in the east, people schooling in the east as local people that could not afford to school in Lagos or Abuja or Port Harcourt. Like, I had a mentality of that, and I still feel stupid till today for thinking like that. Some Enugu schools might be cheaper than Lagos schools, but in Enugu, like, class. I even thought Lagos people had class. Like, I went to school and I saw that there are levels to levels. And it's not even that they speak Igbo constantly. You see those that are speaking Queen English that you that grew up in Lagos cannot even speak. And I was like, okay, okay, this is my jam. I can live with this. I can live with this. Yeah. And then I thought maybe I would have relations with, connections with my former school. Whenever I leave a school, I find it very difficult. Like, it's not like, is it that I don't think I find it very difficult, or maybe they don't rate me enough to think that I am an after school friend. I don't know if people get what I mean. My primary school, all the friends I had in primary school, I talked to none of them again. My just one, those that were in secret habits me, I talked to none of them again. In fact, I had a friend from primary school. I got his number somehow. That was something that I struggled to get to. It's me that struggled to get all their numbers. And like as if I was forcing. The truth is that most of them had phones at the time. I know that I'm cutting from story to story, but like everything will come together. Most of them had phone at the time, and I did not, because my parents are on a strict rule of no phones to university, and they stuck by it. I didn't have phone till university. So my primary school friends already had phones. So I was using my mom's phone at the time because she would let me use it to talk to my friends. So I got his number. We're very good friends in primary school. In fact, very close. We were so close. My mom knew him. My mom knew him. Sometimes we come back home with him, with his people, parents. Sometimes they come back home with us. We're that close. So I saw on his status, he posted someone on his status, and I recognized the girl. And the girl was my friend in just one, that's Sacred Hearts. I asked him to give me the girl's number. I was like, oh, I know this girl. Is this so person? I know her. We schooled in the same secondary school in Lagos. Can I have her number? He sent me her number. And then I messaged her, and she because at the time I used to chat, like, instead of saying what about you, I'll be like WBU, or how are you, I'll say HWU, all those type of slangs. And she bluntly, without, that was like the first message, the first reply she gave me. She said, please start typing. She even put please. She didn't even put please. I don't type in abbreviations. I type in full. So you stop typing in full to prevent blocking. I should start typing in full to prevent blocking from you. I didn't even know how to react at the time. I just let it go. I blocked her, by the way, before she had the chance to block me. I blocked the badge, because why wouldn't I? So that's when I realized that after school, and I at that time I didn't have friends, because it's like the only friends I had were from school. And after school, those ones would drop me off because I didn't have a phone. I don't know what is with this thing and the mentality of when somebody does not have a phone. Like I said, the person is not among. The person is not, yes, among. That's the English. They made it so bad. Like, I felt so useless that I didn't have a phone. I just had to, forget about it. All of my childhood was sweet, like sweet. We had almost everything we wanted except for a phone. My parents run a strict program, like a strict program. We don't talk to boys. We don't we don't if he's not your cousin, he's not your brother, you have no business talking to him. Or you're on the streets and a guy tells you hi and you hi back. Oh god, just start counting your stars. You hide back. You are in deep shit. My parents, they ran a strict program. My dad would respond to people that I was walking on the road with my dad. I was walking on the road with my dad, and someone asked me, fine girl, how are you? And it was an older guy. I was still very small. That kind of thing would just be like, oh, see this little girl that is fine, oh, how are you? He asked me, how are you? My dad did not waste 1 second. My dad turned to this man and said, in fact, it was better that he said something. He eyed him from head to toe. Are you high? Are you mad? Why are you asking her that question? Come on, will you get... I feel bad. I was small. But then I feel bad for the person because I was in the middle of the road. And of all days, he decided to talk to me the day my daddy was holding my hand. But I mean, you should have at least known that my daddy is there. I was a small girl, but like not like small, I was like around to 11, 12. I'm saying I'm 22 now, so obviously I would say I was a small girl. Around 12, 13, I can't really remember the time, but I have reached the age where guys will start talking to me. So that's also what my daddy thought in his head, like he would kill anybody who crosses our path. I said, is this how I'm going to get married? So fast forward to secondary school. So I schooled in Lady Biam, Lady Biam Girls Secondary School. Yeah, that part, my days in secondary school was not interesting. So my secondary school, I had friends. I thought I had friends because a lot of them have dropped me now. I don't want to say this. I don't know why I keep saying this school. I don't know why I keep saying this school. I'm not going to say this story here. I'm going to leave it for another story time. What a friend did to me in school, and the reason I find it difficult to make friends. So my secondary school was, it was just there. I finished secondary school. That was when things started getting worse. My dad, like, all the things, like everything just turned around. Like everything just turned around. At the time, I did not even have anything in mind of like, working. I was just like, well, when it's time for me to work after university, I'll find job. After university, I'll find job. Like, I thought it was going to be that easy because like my daddy found, like my daddy because of my dad, we're living soft life at the time. So like it's going to be easy to get a job and all that. So I relaxed. I was really, really relaxed. So after secondary school, when I realized that things are no longer the way it used to be. At least when I was younger, after church, we would branch at Mr. Biggs or Tantalizer before coming home. But then at a point things changed. If you would ask safe, if you request, can we stop and buy this thing? You'll be like, next time, next time. At the time, we're not like, things have changed though. He had to sit us down and explain to us that true, things have changed. My university, it was my university that in fact, I had to work. I had to be working in university because I didn't enter school on time because of him. I told him I want to do mathematics. I know that the viewers, people are going to be like, who wants to do mathematics? And as a girl, I know. But to me, I'd rather solve maths than read book. Like I would fail. I would fail woefully if I have more of reading than calculation. I just love mathematics. So I told him I want to study mathematics, and he said there is no work in maths, that I should do pharmacy. So I signed up for pharmacy for my jam and WAEC, and I failed jam, but I passed WAEC. So my WAEC was still valid. So I had to rewrite jam again. So at the period where I was writing jam, I was going for jam lesson and all. My jam lesson life was not really interesting, so I'm going to skip that story. And then while I was waiting for my jam results, I started working. So I stayed at home for an extra year. So I was working already before I even entered university. That's when I saw life for the first time. I saw life for the first time. It was that period around was it 2019? No, 2022. Yes, it was around 2022 that I started YouTube for the first time, and that was because of my cousin. He was the one that gave me the idea of starting YouTube, that I can be doing reactions, I can start now, so that before, like as I'm building it up, like before I get to where I'm comfortable, I would have had audience, a lot of audience. But the thing is, I had to rush into it because my mindset when I started YouTube was that, let me start this, so that I'll start with my family. My mindset was that before 1 year, I would have gotten monetized on YouTube and start paying my parents' bills. But unfortunately, that's not how it was. And as I was going deeper and deeper in life, things were getting worse and worse and worse for us. Till now, I'm telling, like, till now, it's still very, like, God is helping us, yes, but like we are still in a tight situation. So basically life just went like days and dropped down in a second. Like we can't even explain what happened. We can't even explain what happened. And then I had to stop YouTube because I was not really, it's not really my, I don't like doing reactions. Like I was not feeling it. Then I started watching YouTube. I wasn't watching YouTube at the time. Oh. Then I started watching YouTube and I was like seeing vlogs. I started getting intrigued by vlogs. Getting intrigued by vlogs. I was like, ah, God, people are living soft life. Oh, like people's life are together. People are getting life together. And I said so. Like I wanted to start vlogging, but then poverty. I'm looking at myself and like, what am I even going to use and vlog? Is it my Kurukere phone? This is not the phone I was using at the time. My phone was Infinix Smart 5, and you can imagine the quality of that phone's camera. It was bad. So I was like, I give up in life. I was like, there is no way I'm going to make it again in life. In fact, my 20s are harder now. Like 20s should be like, well, let's say is the worst phase of life. I don't even know. Being born into wealth and then growing up with like struggling has been one of the most difficult phase of my life. But you know, life goes on. Things get shitty sometimes, but we are still moving. At least was able to pay my school fees, like finish university and all that. So I'm just doing my best, focusing on YouTube, focusing on my life, striving hard, the things that I want to achieve. The first thing is I want to do my masters. I didn't initially want to do masters, but now I have decided that I'm going to do my masters, and I've been checking for scholarships. I want to do my masters abroad. I don't want to do it in Nigeria. So at least I get a closer. I don't know I know it's not going to be that easy, but like at least it's an opportunity to start working abroad. That's the first thing I want to achieve. The second thing is this my YouTube. I want to be able to be focused on this YouTube that I grow a brand for myself. The third thing is I want to start a clothing line. All these things are things that I actually want to achieve. But the only step I've taken forward is first starting a vlog, and secondly applying to different scholarships to get you know so that I can leave Nigeria, at least leave Nigeria. I initially didn't want to do this life story because it's more sad than interesting. So because the person I was expecting it to be interesting, I don't know if it was interesting to you, but to me, it's more sad than interesting. But I was like, I would do it either ways. So that's it. This is my life story. It might be sad to you, but it's what I've been living in since, and I have started getting used to it and doing my best to not getting used to it and getting comfortable, but getting used to it and being able to walk through it to come out of it. So this is the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my life story. Let me know if there's any other story time you want to hear, or if you're interested in that story time I wanted to talk about. So that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for listening in. See you in my next video. I love you guys. Mwah.